You know the moment. You reply a conversation in your head 10 times, 20 times. Then you say, why did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. I should have been smarter. They must think that I'm awkward. It looks like overthinking, but what it actually is perfectionism in disguise. I am Devapam and I am a counselor, cardiac survivor, and somebody who has gone through the anxiety in different shape and form in everyday's behavior. And today, I want to talk about something that most people miss. Social anxiety is just not fair. It is often driven by perfectionism. Psychologist Ellen Hendriksen explains this very uniquely. She says that perfectionism in social anxiety has three main pillars. The first of all is the unrealistic high standards that we set for ourselves. Number two is undermining the self-worth. And number three is being very harsh or very self-critic. Now let's try and break down this in real life. Let's talk about unrealistic high standards first. Now you're walking into a meeting, and somewhere in your mind there is a rule that I must sound intelligent, I must not make mistakes, right? I must say something which is impressive for the people who are there in the meeting. Now that's not something like a preference. That is a performance contract that you sign without any contract, any legal contract, but it's a performance contract that you have. But where is the problem? The problem is, look, humans are messy. Our conversations are messy. These are all chaotic sometimes. This does not follow a linear pattern. So what happens when we sign this unsaid, untold contract? Either we stay silent because we go overboard, right? And we start thinking, oh, what's going on? Because I'm trying to be impressive. Either we just stop or we do go extra mile. Now, what can we do in order to control the situation? What we can do, the first thing that we could do is don't really lower your standards. It does not really mean that you have to lower your standard. Just be human, right? The mindset when you are going into the meeting, for example, should not be like, I need to impress anybody. Should be rather, I need to be present. I need to have that conversation. I need to be present there. And if you have to say, you have to say, right? So there is not an unsaid contract. So get rid of that contract first. The next one is self-worth. Now, for example, you send a message and then you do not get a reply for next 2 hours or something. And suddenly your mind is telling you, did I say something wrong? They don't really like me probably, right? I'm always messing things up. Now, what do you notice? What happened? A simple delay. We do not know why is that delay, but we turn into a judgment about somebody else as a person, or most importantly about us, right? You're turning a judgment about yourself, that I am not impressive. I was not good enough for them to like me, right? And this is where the social anxiety starts getting heavier on you. Because now every interaction that you will have with that person, or anybody else, is basically a verdict on your self-worth rather than the conversation, right? So what can we do? Simple. Move from performance. So your matrix for any conversation should not be your performance, rather be the connection that you are making with some other person, right? So instead of asking the question like, did they like me? You can say, oh, how did I connect with them? How did I enjoy that conversation? What did I learn from them, right? Because connection does not really require perfection. Connection does not really need measure of performance. It's just that we are trying to connect with the other person. So when you are talking, when you're having conversation, focus on the part of connection rather than performance. Next, third one is self-criticism. Now, let's say that we did something awkward, which is, again, as I said, it's very common because we are messy, and in the world of chaos we do that. So what happens next? Because it's not important what we did, it's important what we did after we did that awkward thing. Now, most of the people probably that you notice, but generally, if you are a perfectionist, you'll attack yourself, right? So what would happen? You'd say things like, "Oh, I was so stupid. Why am I like this? I ruin everything. I mess up everything. Why can't anything good happens with me? Or why can't I do not do anything which is worth doing, right? So I'm not really doing good, being great at anything." Now, what is happening here? If you say something like that, just think, if your friend or anybody else, your partner, your kid, or anybody you know or you care, if they do something, would you say those things about them? Would you say you were so stupid? Would you say that, "Oh, why did you mess up? Nothing good happened"? You won't say, right? What would you say? You'd say, "It happens, move on." But you won't say that to yourself. And that's where the problem is. So what do we have to shift? Simply treat yourself like another person, right? You are a human. You have to treat yourself that. So what can you say? "Look, I am a good person. Slip-ups happen, right? I'm very good at this, but I didn't do well this time because, again, I'm human and these things happens, right?" So mistakes. So we should not start attacking ourselves, so this is the basic shift. The moment you say, "Oh, you're attacking ourselves," come back to the conversation that, "Okay, I'm a human and I made a slip up," right? So overall, what did we do? So social anxiety is not just out of fear. It's something, sometimes it's a pressure to be perfect in front of people. It's a pretense that we have to create, right? We have to have perfect words, we have to have perfect reactions, we have to have a perfect image, and that is exhausting. I do understand, right? So instead of that, what we do? We said, let's soften our stance, right? Let's separate my worth with the action, right? And change how we self-talk. What happens? Something shifts. You become fearless. You become free enough to show up, right? So the next time you overthink a conversation, don't ask, "What did I do wrong?" Ask, "What standard was I trying to make?" That's where real work happens. If this helped you and see yourself a little bit more clearly, please subscribe, because we are going to keep breaking down all the social anxiety and everything that happens in our daily life very minutely in a ways that actually make sense in real life. Till then, stay healthy, stay better, and see you soon.